Well, welcome back to day 2 of the Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory. You can see the beautiful landscape that is Cecil County, Maryland. Maryland is home to nearly 100,000 horses, and taking up residency for the weekend are 75 horse and rider combinations representing 7 different nations. Our phase 1 is the dressage, where the partnership is challenged between communication and discipline, followed by the cross country, where they will be faced with bravery and endurance, and then Sunday to define who will sit atop of that podium, who will carefully jump Michelle Valancourt's show jumping track. And there he is, our leader heading into day 2, Boyd Martin, and the Luke 140 Syndicate's Luke 140. He stays atop of that leaderboard, delivering a 31.0. He was expected to deliver, and deliver he did. As we move into today's competition, with the top 2 predicted dressage horses could challenge his placing atop of the podium. Thankfully, he's the only one that's going to knock him off the podium is possibly himself. There we have our standings thus far, and sitting in first place, American Boyd Martin and Luke 140. Followed by Caroline Pamuchku, and she's the one. In third place, Jenny Brannigan, FE Lifestyle. Following up with Canadian Lindsay Transell. We move into the top 10. Alexander Bragg, our sole member from Great Britain. Another Canadian, Jessica Phoenix, joining us there, followed by Will Fodry and Mama's Magic Way. I am joined here with Baron Heilbronn. Welcome to the Maryland 5-Star.
Well, thank you. It's a wonderful place.
It is. You've been out there watching the scene, coaching your riders out there, getting ready for the dressage, looking towards tomorrow. What are your first impressions here of the Maryland?
Maryland impression is wonderful, fantastic, nice avenue. People are wonderful. Volunteers are fantastic. And there's a good camaraderie everywhere around.
What are you excited about looking for today?
For today is good dressage. I'm a dressage trainer, and I'm looking for nice throughness in the horses, good tests ridden, and I'm looking forward to see good stuff.
Well, we'll throw down to some good stuff with the third member of our team down at the in-gate, Frankie Theriot-Stutes.
Good afternoon, everyone. There's absolutely a buzzing atmosphere out here. I'm by the final warm-up, where these riders will go to look for their final preparations before they head into that ring. But it is going to be very exciting to watch this afternoon, because we have some of the best coming forward, and some riders that could definitely shake up the leaderboard, including several former number 1s. And we also have 7 continents represented here at this event. We're going to get to see a lot of them right out of the gate. Back to you guys to kick us off.
Well, thanks, Frankie. We are excited as we look out for tomorrow's day out on piers. Of course, we see some pumpkins out there. The order of go, we will start with Australia, Sophia Hill and Humble Glory. America's Brooke Brashanti and Cooley Space Gray. Another New Zealander, Taylor Mason, comes in representing New Zealand. America, Mary Beth Davis, followed by Monica Spencer and Janelle Price on Chili's Midnight Star. And then we'll move on to our sole Swiss representative in Felix Blog, as we see our beautiful sponsor chalets there at the top of the arena. And here we have our 7 nations represented. Really a testament to the facility here at the Mars Maryland 5-Star. People traveling from all over the world to join us here at Cecil County. Australia, Canada, Great Britain, Ireland, and we will be started out with Sophia Hill from Australia. A huge trip across the world to join us here. And we will see what she can do as she canters down this beautiful Atwood Arena, 20 by 60. Sophia riding Humble Glory, pure thoroughbred, 14 years old. Owned by Sophia, Andrew Hill, Michelle Landy, and Ted Landy. See her clock ticking down, and in the background there, the Young Event Horse Championships will culminate this afternoon, crowning the future of the sport. But here, the pinnacle of the sport, Sophia Hill and Humble Glory. And Baron, maybe you can talk us through what you're seeing and maybe what we're not seeing.
Well, right now what I see is a wonderful entrance. It's a nice straight entrance, a little bobble and a little flexion to the left. in the halt that might be marked down. Wonderful turn to the left. Unfortunately broken into the canter. These horses are so fit, and especially with this weather and also the discipline of this sport, it requires the highest level of training. So compared to the regular dressage work, these horses have to face all three phases, and therefore we have to sometimes deal with some extra tension because these horses are so incredibly fit.
And that's a lot. We've seen that. We've seen a lot of thoroughbreds in this field, actually, which is really exciting. We will later on see one of our New Zealand riders with her thoroughbred Artist. That is a challenge to the top of the leaderboard. But these horses are really bred to run, Baron. And so this is a completely different skill that they have to develop in this phase.
Absolutely. You're absolutely correct. But that is also the challenge from this three phase, to make the dressage part of the discipline and to make it extra difficult.
And we can see that she's actually wearing a double bridle. Can you talk to us a little bit about why you would choose to wear a double?
So a double bridle gives you a little bit extra control. It refines the eight, so you can be a little bit sharper and a little bit quicker in the eight, and therefore having the horse a little bit quicker distracted, if you will say it that way. And therefore it can give the horse a little bit more comfort and easiness to go through the test.
Again, there's a lot of walk work in this test, and unfortunately Humble Glory's fitness might be catching the best of him, because here he actually has a really great walk when he just takes a breath.
Yeah, he's actually relaxing here, and he's actually starting to get a nice overstride. He's seeking for the bridle. He's unfortunately a little bit unsteady in the bridle. He's jumping on the bit a little bit too much. We prefer not to have that.
This pair contested the Great Burley Horse Trials, finishing right outside of the top 20 back in 2024. Then made the big trip back to Australia, where her final event there in this dressage phase. She was on a 40.7. She seems to be one that makes it through this first day and then is a real climber. So she's going to be hoping that tomorrow's track is absolutely as challenging as rumor has said it will be.
And she tried to recover that nicely. It's a nice clean change. Little resistance, not quite through to the back.
4 changes in this test, which, if you have a horse with a good flying change, it really works in your favor to help pull up the score.
So in that half pass, that could have been a little bit more bent throughout the whole horse.
So unfortunately, they're meant to stay on that counter canter, which is really hard, again, when you have a horse that's this fresh and wants to be in balance. This horse wants to be on the correct lead where he feels most in balance. So when she came across that long side, he just felt, I'd be way more comfortable on the other leg.
Correct. This one is a lot better, this half pass, than to the left. To the right, I mean.
And do you find that there's, in general with horses, they're better one way or the other, or is it pretty unique to
No,
the individual?
absolutely. I mean, it's the same thing with people. They are left-handed or right-handed, so absolutely you can feel a difference. That where horses prefer to go, and we're talking about hollow sides or long sides, and a stiffer side, therefore, and it's more difficult to bend and stretch the opposite side. It's very unfortunately for that mistake.
Yeah, she's just lost her way a little bit, and the judges remind her, and it's so hard, Baron, you get in there, and it's all not quite going to plan. You know, and she just wanted to turn down that center line and be done.
Oh, you get so flustered.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
You know, it's a big effort, a big trip. I mean, days and days of travel for her to get over here. I do believe this horse will be staying over here with...
There's absolutely a couple of lovely moments in there.
she'll turn down her final center line. Eager to get this phase behind her. And again, you know, these guys at this level, Baron, they know, you know, you always hope to come in on a day and have a personal best, but they're going to have a clear understanding of what is a realistic expectation.
Oh, absolutely. Correct.
She will have hoped to have kept that mark a little bit lower, but she came here for Pierre's cross-country course, so she will be really looking forward to switching the tack. So we just watched a little bit of a lack of rhythm there, a loss of rhythm. The balance.
The horse is still going a little bit slightly on the forehand. It's a little bit butt high, group high. It could be engaged a little bit better. If that would be the case, then she would have also a little bit better throughness and an acceptance of the bit, and therefore her scores will inflict to better score.
And we take a look down at our judges. At C, president of the ground jury, Sandy Phillips from Great Britain. And sitting beside her at H from the USA, B. DeGrazia, and at B. Robert Stevenson. They are sitting in these beautiful quarry view huts presented by one of our wonderful sponsors here, and we could not do it without our sponsors. We are so thankful for Lemieux. As we have a score come in, it is 46.2 that Sophia will start out on the cross country with. That puts her in 11th place at the beginning of day 2 here at the Mars Maryland 5-star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory. Now, it takes a village, Baron. You know, you're up here with your students, and it's a big effort, you know, throughout the season. Maybe you don't go to all the events, but this is the big one. What does it mean for the team to come here?
It's huge. I mean, it's absolutely huge, and it's important for them to bring a mark at their place, at their where they are in their riding. It brings kind of a stamp on them.
As we have our next USA rider coming down center line, Brooke Brashanti, and her lovely partner, Cooley Space Gray. It's a 12-year-old by Harley out of Zinlanda by Silverstone. Cooley Space Gray, owned by Brooke's mother, Karen Brashanti.
Lovely little expression on that horse. He appears as a real doer. Could have been a little bit more forwards, a little bit more rhythm, lost a little bit of a rhythm in the half pass here. Therefore, a little harder to control the bend.
This is Brooke and Cooley Space Gray's second attempt at the 5-star level. We saw them earlier in the season at Lexington, Kentucky. Again, this phase, one of the harder phases for this horse, tends to trend around a 44 or 43. And what would it take to get these scores kind of a little bit closer to that 30 mark?
If I watch this myself, I would like to see him a little bit more forwards, a little bit more coming towards the hand. Therefore, the improvement in the connection will be better, and the throughness of the back and the engagement as well. And then you have a natural better lift through the shoulders and through the whole expression of the horse, and then the horse will also be able to sit better as well. Like in the terrain back, they have to be a diagonal pair. This was unfortunately too crooked, not straight back. Was obedient. So like there, the horse has a clear forebeat, could be a little bit more committed, in my opinion, and a little bit more forwards.
You know, it's interesting because we we think about, we want our horses so laid back and relaxed in this phase, but they also need kind of a readiness and energy that is ready and athletic to play. And this horse is such a fabulous cross-country horse. The pair is amazing to watch. And he just looks like he's kind of coming in here just almost too laid back to do the thing.
Yes, agreed.
But we also don't know what she's sitting on. And every now and then you see a little flick of the tail or a little eye back towards the judge's box, and you see a slight ear pin there. And you know she's feeling some opinions that she might be deciding, you know what, the negotiation is I'll let you go your own speed.
And sometimes it's a hard judgment, because sometimes when you ride them a little bit more forwards, you actually ride that tension out of them instead of creating more tension, while you actually compromised a little bit.
Unfortunately, the first of those 4 changes was late behind, so that will also affect that score.
So she shows a difference. That's clearly, unfortunately, that a mistake. But she shows a difference, and if the horse could be a little bit more onto the bit, meaning the engagement from behind, then her marks definitely will be going up.
And this stretchy circle has really been built in here to make sure that the riders are prioritizing the relaxation and the harmony, and judges knowing that the riders will practice what's in the test. And it has made a difference. You have seen the relaxation of the horses over the past several years really improve.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, see, on those flying changes, you can see that the lack of impulsion and forwardness, so therefore she has a really hard time to keep the changes straight as well. So she will start to involve more body movement in that.
And you can kind of see that what you alluded to in the rein back is that lack of straightness, then they didn't get the diagonal pairs.
Correct.
Then coming through for those changes, the legs are just not in the same timing to get the change to come through.
But there's a lot of things in factor here. We are nervous as riders. We try to prepare our best. We do our best. We often tense up there for a little bit more in our own muscles. We think that we're asking it correctly, and it doesn't always come out that way.
She's done a good job of bringing this one up through the levels. She's really taken her time to kind of bring this horse along very quickly. And now it's her top 3 finishes.
So like right here, you can clearly see in that forwards is what I mentioned. If she would have been a little bit more forwards and the neck was a little bit more in control into the connection, that change would have cleaned up much better. You see a very clear 3-breed. That's a nice thing.
You know, and she smiles. Again, we talked about it. She knew going in there that this was her horse's more difficult phase, but it's going to be a big day of cross country tomorrow as we look towards Pierre Le Grouple's first attempt at designing here at the Mars Maryland 5-star. As Brooke takes just a little courtesy up there, we have the score here, a 48.1, which will put her in 12th place. She will head out on the course tomorrow with that score, hoping to add nothing to it. And there is nothing better than coming here to Maryland and staying at the Gray Wolf Lodge. My children are very envious that I am not here, or they're not here enjoying these indoor water park slides with me. We've got so much fun here at one of the top destinations to stay. I'm pretty sure the president of our ground jury, I might have spotted her going down one of those slides as we see a little clip of, I think that's Boyd Martin and his kids enjoying all that there is to offer here in Cecil County. That's the Kids Corner that is here at the horse park. Everyone having a great time. Come out and join us if you're watching from home. There is so much to see and do here as we get back to the serious work in the ring, but lots of fun to be had all around here at Fair Hill.
She's chosen a song called Show Me Love
And
by Bee and Honey.
trotting around the arena here for New Zealand, Taylor Mason. She is riding the 14-year-old Centennial. This horse owned by Sonia Mason, Sue Rudder, Taylor, and Kyle Mason. Taylor is based in Great Britain, but rides for New Zealand. So many of these competitors, you know, it's interesting where they decide to go in base. We have Philip Dutton and Boyd Martin who came to North America, and then we have a strong contingency of Kiwi riders that have based over in England following the great Tim and Janelle. And then we have a look at the beautiful weather here. It is a lovely 61 degrees, a perfect day to come out and enjoy top horse sport here at Mars, Maryland, as Taylor makes her debut here at Mars, Maryland 5-star.
So the first impression around the ring was a very pleasant look. Horse has a nice expression. Nice straight center line.
This pair contested the Great 5-star in France at Pau, and on that day laid down a 30 in this dressage phase. So certainly capable of a good test, Baron.
Yep. And unfortunate for that little irregularity in that lengthening for the medium.
How much do you, when there's a differentiating between the medium and the lengthening, how much do you play on that difference, or do you just...
Well, the lengthening is you don't even necessarily have to bring the shoulders up. The medium, it is more a form of collection and expressed more uphill and with more engagement and suspension. There's a lovely flow there in that half pass. Nice positioning, nice bend. This shows a nice difference. The horse is very attentive. You can see it on the ears. It's not pinning the ears straight back. It's actually focusing on the rider quite nicely. It can look unpleasant that way, but it is not. Good rein back.
Yeah, Taylor does a nice job there of just kind of taking a breath and bringing maybe her energy down a little bit for the walk.
Yeah, and I like the way how she sits on the walk. She lets the horse do the job. Has a good forebeat, clear forebeat, good overstride.
Taylor was also top 20 at badminton this spring, which I think probably gave her that little extra bit of motivation to make the trip over here to Maryland.
What I like too is when she picked up the reins, the rhythm stayed, and the horse cooperated nicely on staying on the bit. Good difference. She's holding that counter canter nicely. What we're looking for is the same stride. It's unfortunately a little bob.
Almost looked like she lost the balance a little bit around that corner.
Exactly.
The power went out.
So in the counter canter, what we're looking for is that the horse stays exactly in the same stride and the same outline as the true canter.
Sounds so easy.
Yeah, not so easy. Especially when the horses know these tests and they've been practicing it and the horse is anticipating it. That was very well done. Good difference. Good.
This horse looks very, very rideable. You could see there her put a little bit more jump into the step so that she could really keep him engaged in that.
So I
half
love
pass.
the position there from the horse. She could have, in my opinion, a little bit more bend around her inner leg in the rib cage, and I think that her marks will go up on that personally. Again, she does a lovely job for lengthening the neck and bringing it back without any effort. Good change. And that was nice and straight.
You know, this could be challenging our leader. We haven't had anyone sub 30 thus far. It was hard to see how that last change came through, but
she had a little bobble there just before the change, unfortunately.
Our leader currently, Boyd Martin, sitting on a 31 flat.
Lovely square. Oops. No, too soon, sir. Well done.
So we'll have one more mark come in for her, which is a harmony score, which is a double coefficient. So will she have done enough to knock Boyd Martin out of that top spot? We'll have to wait and see.
Very nice two-beat, clear suspension. You can see even a little bit the connection. It's lovely, quiet, easy, effortless. Little resting there in the halt, unfortunately. Very nice. And she holds those counter-canters very well.
We'll wait to hear what her score is, but it's going to be close. The stands are filling up. We can see those cross-country jumps right next to the dressage arena, forecasting what we will be watching tomorrow. But today, still a few top contenders left to challenge as the score comes in, and we have a new leader in the clubhouse with a 30.4. New Zealand's Taylor Mason takes over the lead, hits Boyd right out of that top spot, and I think there will be some tears there from her. We've got Mason atop of the leaderboard, Boyd Martin, then followed in third by Caroline Pamuchku, who has another ride to bring forward today. And in fourth place, USA's Jenny Brannigan and FE Lifestyle with a 32.8. Still looking to break that 30 barrier. And here are the five-star competitions around the world. We have Pau in France, Adelaide, Australia, Lamulin in Germany, Badminton, Great Britain, Burley, Great Britain, Kentucky, USA, and here we are, Maryland, USA, one of only 7 five-star competitions in the world, and it's happening right here in Cecil County. We have a beautiful shot there of Pierre Legubel's beautiful 5- and 3-star competition, all to play for here. Bring out the pups. We will have the corgi races that we have become world renowned for here, as Taylor and her crew are just relishing in that top spot. And again, a huge effort to come over from Great Britain and a huge move from New Zealand to get to Great Britain. So this young lady has been all over the world with these horses, and he just looks cool as a cucumber, Barron, walking down to the in-gate.
Was this a lovely test?
Definitely well-deserved, as we welcome a friendly face into the main arena. Here we have Mary Bess Davis and Imperio Magic. Mary Bess having represented the U.S. on a Nations Cup team over at Buccolo last year. She is definitely a crowd favorite, one of the friendliest people on the circuit. On this little horse sourced by Mike and Emma Winter. She actually bought this horse sight unseen upon recommendation from coach and mentor Mike over in England. And what a pairing it has been for her. Imperial Magic, just an 11-year-old, owned by Mary Bess, by Cassander C. out of Kaja des Heights.
Little too abrupt in the halt. Horse has a very clear difference, is able to clear difference, could, for my opinion, be a little bit more sitting down and engaged and a little bit more uphill. and a tiny bit steadier in the contact.
How much do you feel when we talk about a horse's natural conformation, and maybe some of this horse is, he's a little bit more of a horizontal type than the ones that we've seen in so far. How much can you develop that uphill carriage?
You're absolutely correct, and it depends a little bit on the horse. I mean, you're either an athlete or you're not an athlete in one way. I hate to say it that way, but I've seen horses that conformation-wise are not meant to do things, and they totally completely surprised me on their work ethic and how good their heart was in putting themselves into their work. And you were amazed on how good they could on accuracy and still show a good enough difference to pull off a really good test. And I see in this horse that it is capable of doing that. I mean, it shows clearly a difference in the gait. And yes, it could have some help a little bit more in the engagement and being uphill, but there's definitely, it shows differences.
See, she has that very light little, almost baby bit that Nate
Yes.
trying to encourage him to accept and appreciate maybe the contact a little bit more. This is her second 5-star. We welcomed her to the level at.
But surprisingly, she does a very good job in the walk. I mean, the horse has actually an average walk, but she does a very good work in the walk, and it has a clear 4-beat. The horse is trusting her, it is seeking for the bit, it is looking for a bigger stride, and again, as I said, he shows a good difference.
And this is very improved. I mean, this horse is going from strength to strength. We've kind of followed along with her progress with this horse. He's a fabulous, fabulous jumper, and this phase has always been his slightly weaker phase, but so far she's really showcasing the work that she's been putting in.
Exactly, and it's maybe horrible to say of me, but it appears that the horse is unfortunately a little bit big of a head, a long head, and it makes the neck also look therefore a bit shorter, so that makes it also a little harder to judge how the carriage is. Again, the positioning is very good. I would have loved to see a little bit more bend around the inner leg, but very fluent in the half pass.
Very
nice
bold.
and bold. Yeah, love it.
And that's just showing us what
Yes.
she's capable of tomorrow.
Exactly. Very nice. A little bit ahead of her herself as a rider in the change. So this bend in this half pass, you should get a higher score for that. It looks better and more fluent. Nicely following the hand right from the beginning. Remains the connection. There. So as you could see when she picked up the reins as well, horse was very, very cooperative in there and steady. Nice flying change. Expressive. That one is a little flatter. The other one was a little bit more expressive. Great center line so far. And a nice square halt.
Well, she will be thrilled with that test as it's trending towards a best score for her. But we are going to head down with Frankie, who caught up with our new leader.
Well, Taylor, a beautiful, beautiful ride. It's your first time to America. You're staying at the Great Wolf Lodge. You're getting the full American experience. But take us through this test.
Chase, he has been feeling good all week. Well, he was feeling good yesterday and he felt great this morning. And he knows his job now, so it's just a matter of executing it and upping the quality. So I went in there and he was just with me the whole time, and I managed to, ride him within the test, and he just kept, responding the right way, and everything that I'd hoped he would have done.
Well, you have a lot of people riding with you here this week. You did crowdfund to get here after a bout of bad luck, broke your collarbone and rerouted from Burley, and it kind of has to feel a little bit today like maybe that was all to plan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer in fate and, you know, the universe making you do things in a certain way. So, yeah, I wasn't ready to, you know, end the season there, and he's fit and ready to go. And we managed to crowdfund. It was I wasn't sure if we were going to make it, but there's some amazing people, my supporters, friends, family. I mean, I just owe it to all you guys, and thank you so much. We made it here, and now it's just up to me and Chase to get this week done and do as best job as we can.
All right, well, it'll be very exciting to watch you. Good luck. Back to you guys for more action.
Well, a score in for Mary Beth Davis, a 34.4, which will put her in 6th place, which is a very sweet spot to be in heading out tomorrow on cross country. A personal best for her at the level, her and her team. Very excited with the work she has put in. She will be looking forward to the course tomorrow as she heads down for her final tack check to make sure everything is on board with our wonderful stewards there in that warm-up arena. And here we have another one that could very quickly challenge that leaderboard. One of the forecasted top placing horses here at the Mars Maryland 5-star, Monica Spencer and her beautiful thoroughbred Artist, just 14 years old, by Guillotine out of Maximore by Bosgrado.
Very typey horse, incredible uphill, lovely expression I find, and a nice freedom in the shoulders. Very pleasant breaks it. So there's a nice engagement here. The hind leg comes nicely forwards and under, and especially for, is this a full thoroughbred?
Full thoroughbred.
Wow.
I know.
Very, very classy horse. Incredible.
Monica saw this horse as, I believe, a 4-year-old at a competition across the field and kind of said that has to be mine. And
yeah,
here we are.
I can see why. An absolutely lovely bend around her right leg, steady, maintains the uphill feeling what should be in the half pass because it is a collective exercise. Lovely shoulder in, nice 3 tracks, fluently over into the half pass to the left. Rider sits nicely in the center. Yeah, and especially for a thoroughbred, great expression in that extension. Wonderful. Nice halt. Beautiful run. Tiny little bit of a resistance in that rein back. You could see that. She managed it very well.
Monica, based here in the United States, one of the Kiwi riders that decided to come this side, but
See how even here for a thoroughbred, especially here in the walk, that's when they have a tendency to tense up more, show shorter strides. Lovely stride. Seeking for the bit. Great march. Holds the rhythm there. See how he goes in the canter. Nicely done. Very expressive, beautiful canter. Covers nicely ground. It didn't speed up. It didn't get hurried. Beautiful chains, nice and calm. Stayed in the same rhythm. There, lost a tiny little bit of the bend. But now I'm being very critical. And again, yeah, have that lovely expression. Very bold, nicely forward, good ground cover. Well held in the counter canter. Beautiful change. What an expressive horse. He's very lucky with this horse. There's, he could follow that bit a little tiny bit better, in my opinion. So he's not quite seeking for the connection forwards.
Well, I think we're getting close to seeing our first horse maybe crack that 30 barrier with Taylor atop of the leaderboard sitting on a 30.4.
I agree, that's a nice change again. Very clean test.
Well, Artis has had 14 sub 30s at 4 and 5 star.
And what a beautiful expression that the horse has throughout the whole entire test. Nice transition to the trot. Well done. Perfectly straight. Nice. Well done.
Well, the crowd goes wild here out at Mars Maryland 5-star. Pretty convincing that we're going to have a new leader. Taylor didn't get to enjoy that podium spot for too long as Monica and her longtime partner Artis just laid down the gauntlet here at the Mars Maryland 5-star.
Super pleasant test to watch.
I would go for a bigger adjective than that, Baron. Pleasant.
Wonderful.
That's getting better. It's hard to get these dressage guys excited. And the crowd giving her a well-deserved cheer.
Go, crowd.
And if you are liking what you see here and want to listen to more, come here, get a radio, Taylor Harris Insurance Radio. You can have us in your ear the whole week so you can hear what's going on, but it's all to see here at the Alltech Atwood
Lovely
Arena.
expression. And that horse is so game and to play in the ring with her.
It is a new personal best for Monica Spencer.
And just really a master of his own energy, right impulsion, right readiness, right timing.
Yeah, absolutely. Look
Beautiful
at the
changes.
clear free beat. The changes are wonderful. Look how effortless that is. And especially as we said, these horses are so fit and they are tense, and how he carried himself throughout that whole test. It was absolutely wonderful.
And she hops right off as a score comes in, and new leader 23.7. She did not just tip past that barrier, she blasted through it. She puts a healthy margin for herself up at the top of the leaderboard, and it truly was in a class of its own.
Yes, well deserved.
We have our Corey View leaderboard there. Monica Spencer sits atop on a 23.7. Taylor Mason, fellow Kiwi, behind her on a 30.4, and former Kiwi Boyd Martin on a 31.0. American Caroline Pamuchku on a 31.4, as we see Monica so quick to hop off and loosen the girth and give this horse a little break. First person that we've really seen do that. She's thrilled, big smiles, very excited as she moves over to get out of the way of our next rider coming into the arena. And we'll see what can happen there as Artis makes his way down for his final tack check. Monica and husband and son relocated here and are now very, very excitedly, I'm sure, looking forward to tomorrow, but also the World Championships in Aachen next year. There we have a great shot of the water jump here. Past winners at the 5-star here, Oliver Townend. Austin O'Connor had that wonderful win, pulled up from 12th place to win the whole event. 2022, Tim Price. 2021, U.S. rider Boyd Martin on cue. Speaking of Tim Price, the other member of the Price team here, Janelle Price, looking to mimic her husband's win on her partner, first-time 5-star horse, Chili's Midnight Star, an 11-year-old. by Chilly Morning, the 5-star stallion ridden by William Fox Pitt. This horse owned by Nikki Axon and Merrill Halestead.
And this is personally always a little hard to follow up after a nice, beautiful ride like that before.
Well, this lady is no stranger to pressure and pulling off things in the face of adversity, but she also is very realistic that this is this horse's first 5-star. But believe me, Baron, she did not put him on a plane to come in second.
I bet.
Chilly's Midnight Star had a 6th place finish at Scoons Palace in the 4-star long, and were 3rd at Mill Street in Ireland back in
Lovely
2024.
entry so far. Very nice. Good departure. Nice and fluent and prompt. Yeah, horse shows a very nice, different, beautiful expression. He's trying to sit down. He could be a little bit more lifted up in the front, but a very good effort. Lovely rhythm in the lateral movement. Nice bend around the right leg. Good positioning in the front. And we think that the shoulder ends are so easy, but they are not. They're actually quite difficult. We have a tendency to push the haunches out, and the bend is often wrong a little bit or not enough, and therefore it will appear to almost like a leg yielding. But this is actually a really good job. Starts right away out of the corner. Lovely expression. Came actually more uphill than the first one. Good halt. Excellent. 2, 3, 4, 5. You can detect a little tiny bit of attention, but now, yeah, right there, it's getting better. There you could show a little tiny bit more confidence in following the hand into the bridle, but a very clear forebeat. It's actually getting better and better. Horse waited very nicely for her. Came slightly above the bit, but waited nicely for the transition. There I would have loved to see a little bit more expression and a little bit more forwardness and activity and boldness. A little quick in the change, but I thought it was clean.
Yeah, I think one of the conversations Janelle has had about this horse is it's a big, strong horse. So I think getting the rideability in this phase as well as in the cross country, that's what you're seeing a little bit in the canter work here, is really making sure she lets him go enough, but she's got to be able to get him back. And she's not a big lady.
But she shows a nice difference. Very nice. Even if she is very strong, she disguises it very well.
She is mighty in stature, I will say that.
He's nicely relaxing into that lengthening of the neck. Came lovely back up. Yeah, I got a little tense there. He pushes back a little back and hollow. That made it a little harder on the change. Same thing with this one. And again, a lovely straight entrance. Good fluent transition to the trot. And a lovely halt.
While we wait for a score to see where Janelle finishes here on the podium, we go down to Frankie with our new leader.
Well, Monica, it's a personal best for you. You've been basing here in the States, and he looked absolutely brilliant in there. Tell us about how it felt.
Thank you. Yeah, well, he was amazing. He stayed with me. He was offering so much energy, and I was like, woo boy, woo Max. And yeah, we held it together, and he showed himself off, which was it's serious out there, and there's some real different stuff that I've never seen before. So it'll be interesting to see how the day unfolds.
Well, you're on a spectacular thoroughbred, and you will look to track Pierre's track tomorrow. Good luck, Monica. Back to you guys.
So good to hear from her as we see Janelle striding out in front of those beautiful chalets. As a score comes up for her, and into second place, a 30.3. She will strongly be in contention as she heads out on Pierre Legouvel's cross-country course on Saturday. A fabulous finish for her. All smiles. And a beautiful test demonstrated here by our current leader, Monica Spencer, and artist. Please stay with us. We will be back with all the action here at Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory.
The Maryland Horse Library and Education Center in Reisterstown offers a special collection of over 5,000 equine-related volumes. Monthly events include panel discussions, author talks, and book signings. Visit MarylandHorse.com to learn more.
Gentlemen, come with me.
If you know anything, tell me.
Ready? Well then, we best get started.
This is way over my head.
You're playing a dangerous game, boss.
Where does this end?
I don't know.
It's gonna be a busy night.
This is only the start.
University of Maryland Center for Environmental Science. In today's search for environmental solutions, trust the institution with 100 years of pioneering research in the Chesapeake Bay watershed and around the world.
The Mars Maryland 5-Star would like to thank Mars Equestrian and the Mars family of brands for their support. Mars Equestrian, Buckeye Nutrition, Ethel M Chocolates, Nutro, Pedigree, Antec, and Sound.
We invest in the present to raise the future. Brown Advisory, supporting the global equine community.
We'd like to thank the following partners: Maryland Department of Commerce and Tourism, Maryland Department of Natural Resources, Maryland Department of Agriculture, and Maryland Horse Industry Board.
The Mars Maryland 5-Star, presented by Brown Advisory, is being brought to you by Mars Equestrian, a better world for horses, pets, and people. By Brown Advisory, invest in the present to raise the future. And by Cecil County. Discover Cecil County, Maryland, where food and adventure bring people together.
Well, welcome back to Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory. We had a chance earlier today to catch up with our new course designer, Pierre Lagupel.
I feel at home, which is a good start. I mean, it's all about working with a fabulous team in a fabulous venue and having an easy partners to do the job. So it's inspiring. I went here last year for the previous edition and I was kind of, he didn't need me, but I was on the paper the assistant from Ian Stark, the previous course designer. It gives me time to learn the venue, getting the feeling of the terrain, of, observing the competitors. The best occasion to get the feeling of it during the previous competition. The Lugner roller coaster used to be in another iconic place just on top of the hill before the Fair Hill step. This year it was not changing just to make a change, it was to give a different feeling and also to have that fence that is a bit spectacular being seen by the road. So maybe another way to promote the event, I don't know, we'll see. I hope everybody will have a smile, whatever the result. I hope they will have fun riding that course and that it will be a good memory for them. We all know that this is a demanding venue for the horses in terms of thickness. We try to soften that aspect a little bit. The ground is good. The forecast scenario has been very helpful. So the ground will be very good. It's a first year. It's a 5-star. It has to be at the level what we are just trying to create here. I mean, the whole team is to create the desire to have a go for the future generation and not the opposite, certainly, and for the riders to come back. It's a full picture, I think, that needs to be considered. I'm happy, yes, to do that because I love my job and because it's a fantastic opportunity for a guy like me. But the people here makes everybody feel so welcome. But yeah, I feel at home. I'm in my element, and as I say, the job working with them is just fabulous. And I'm excited because everybody is excited around me. So. Positively excited.
Well, an exciting day of cross country tomorrow. We are going to go to a quick break, but don't go anywhere. We have 5 horses left to go in this Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill.
The 988 helpline provides immediate emotional support to people across Central Maryland. The helpline is free, confidential, and calls and texts are answered 24/7. Learn more at 988helpline.org.
We are in the very midst of a revolution, the most complete, unexpected, and remarkable of any in the history of nations. Objects of the most stupendous magnitude, and measures in which the lives and liberties of millions yet unborn are intimately interested, are now before us. John Adams.
The Maryland Horse Library and Education Center in Reisterstown offers a special collection of over 5,000 equine-related volumes. Monthly events include panel discussions, author talks, and book signings. Visit marylandhorse.com to learn more. The Mars Maryland 5-Star would like to thank Mars Equestrian and the Mars family of brands for their support. Mars Equestrian, Buckeye Nutrition, Ethel M. Chocolates, Nutro, Pedigree, Antec, and Sound.
We invest in the present to raise the future. Brown Advisory, supporting the global equine community.
We'd like to thank the following partners: Mars Equestrian, Brown Advisory, Cecil County, Maryland Sports Commission, and Maryland Stadium Authority.
The Mars Maryland 5-Star, presented by Brown Advisory, is being brought to you by Lemieux, technically advanced gear for horse and rider. By Great Wolf Lodge. Bring your pack together at the newest and largest Great Wolf Lodge, now open in Perryville, Maryland. And by Yanmar, compact equipment, together we build.
Well, here we have a look at our top 6. And for New Zealand, Monica Spencer nailing it with a 23.7, followed behind by fellow countryman Janelle Price on a 30.3. Taylor Mason, 30.4 for a top 3 Kiwi sweep. Boyd Martin in 4th place with a 31.0, followed by Caroline Pamuchku, 31.4, and Jenny Brannigan on a 32.8. We have 5 left to canter down center line here at Mars Maryland 5-Star, and that will be for Sweden, Felix Våg on Cartagena. The famous Phelps and Mia Farley, another thoroughbred to grace the stage here. Then by Dressage container, Boyd Martin and Commando 3, Buck Davidson and Cooley Candyman, and Caroline Pamuchku to finish us up with HSH Blake. There, a shot of the crowds filling up the space here. It is a beautiful day here at Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill. A great shot here in Cecil County. So fortunate to have our sponsors out here. It takes a village, and we are proud to be part of this village for the next 3 days as Swiss rider Felix Våg gets ready to come down the center line on his beautiful 14-year-old Holsteiner mare Cartagena. Of course, owned by Felix.
There's a lovely expression outside the ring here.
They're the iconic water tower here at Cecil County. 5,600 acres that we get to play on this weekend. Over 100,000 horses in this area. A mecca for horse sports, hosting the Maryland Hunt Cup, the Preakness, and now the Mars Maryland 5-Star, our 5th running of the event here at Fair Hill. Perfect day for sport as Felix comes down the center line to challenge those Kiwis that are sweeping the podium.
Lovely entrance, a little bit above the bit in the halt, but nice and correct. This horse has a lovely expression. So he might not show as much of a difference, but he does show a difference. Very clear track. Could be a little bit more bended around and a little bit more submissive and a little rounder in the neck. Personally, a little softer. You can see a little tension there. So what I would have liked to see a little bit more is in the shoulder and a little bit more lift. It's a collective exercise, and I would have loved to see that a little bit more lifting. Even having said that, the horse keeps a lovely expression throughout. Great, a little bit above the bit, not quite square. And as you see, he in the rein back, very obedient, but still a bit of resistance.
Baron, explain to some of our listeners and watchers at home We hear the comments behind the bit, above the bit, on the bit.
So what we're looking for is that the horse is on the vertical. This horse stays nicely on the vertical. But what I would have liked to see is a little bit rounder in the whole entire neck, in the base, and that there is a little bit more lift through the back, and that will create a softer look for us people on the outside watching them. And because of that, then you will see a more fluentness in the horse, especially in the reinback. In the reinback there was a little bit of a hesitation, and the neck stiffened there for a little bit, so there is a less fluidity in the steps backwards. So as you see right there in the corner, he wants to fall a little bit into the right leg. He's not quite on the 8, he's trying to push a bit in, and it's a little bit harder for him to maintain that balance then in that counter canter, and it changes stride a little bit. But he shows a clear difference. This is personally, I think that was a better expression than the first one. Not quite clean in that change. Apologize for the being a mare. I said he. And Sinead, how old was this horse again?
14.
14.
14, and she has contested the 5-star level.
Yeah.
Didn't have a successful run around Badminton this spring, but did have a top 20 finish at Burley back in 2024.
Nice,
as well as Badminton back in 2023. So plenty of experience at this level.
Yeah, in general, a very lovely, lovely picture, just slightly tense.
And it's so nice here to get to actually, in the flesh, watch these foreign riders that normally we only get to see on the TV. We're so fortunate to have the TV, but to be here in Cecil County watching the likes of Swiss rider Felix Vogt and his beautiful mare here, also our New Zealand riders, as we look back at this test.
Nice clean change there. You could see in that corner he lost a little bit that bend, and he fell a little bit inward.
Look at this athlete footing. We are so lucky to have such good sponsors as the score comes in 28.7. Second place knocks Janelle Price down 1 spot on the podium, and the competition is coming in hot and fast here on the final dressage day at Mars Maryland 5-star. Here we have the Quarry View leaderboard with Monica Spencer atop 23.7. Behind her, Felix Vogt on a 28.7. Janelle Price 30.3, and Taylor Mason a 30.4. And while we await the next horse, I can't wait to hear Frankie Theriot-Stutes tell us about the retail therapy that's going on at Mars Maryland.
The Mars Maryland 5-star, presented by Brown Advisory, is not just about elite level sport. With almost 100 vendor spots, you're sure to find something you love in the vast shopping village. From our famous apple cider donuts to high-end clothing brands and everything in between. This 5-star event offers something for the whole family. Whether taking in some local music on the Reka stage, sampling local produce at the food court, or updating the wardrobe in the official merchandise store, come on out and enjoy everything the Mars Maryland 5-star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory, has to offer.
welcome back to day 2 here of competition at Mars, Maryland, as Mia Farley and the famous Phelps circle around the arena before entering down the center line. I think all of us fell madly in love with Phelps and Mia back here in 2023, where they finished in 5th place, blazing around the cross country, the only one to make the time on Ian Stark's track. And here we are with Mia, her full thoroughbred, bought for $1, now owned by David O'Connor.
That's pretty amazing.
It is that, and I think that is why this has been such a fairy tale as she comes down the center line.
It looks like a very sympathetic horse. Lovely expression. Looks like he has 3 very good gaits. Not as maybe as expressive as some of other ones that we have seen, but a very accurate mover. And she shows a nice difference. So for a horse that has not as big a gaits, it actually shows a very good, clear difference. Fluent transitions from the shoulder in to the half pass. It's very regular, could be a little bit more softer in the throughness. But again, the effort is very well done. And here's a typical example that this is not the biggest mover that we have seen, but a very accurate mover. It's very clear trot work, 2-beat. Clear difference in this extension. Lovely rhythm. Never changed the rhythm throughout the whole diagonal. Beautiful halt. That could, for my opinion, be a little bit bigger in the stride. He slid his legs a little bit back in the sand, not really stepping up. Clear 4-beat. Lovely march, eager to go forwards, not hurried looking. And then unfortunately, I think if he would have been a little bit more out in his neck and his nose, he could have stepped a little bit bigger and gained a little bit more points. Again, a nice transition from that extended walk to the medium walk. Keep a little bit above the bit. Well ridden. Could maybe be a little bit more bolder forwards. Good change. Nice and fluent. Again, they probably have to come in a little bit more bent in there, but very fluently ridden. Nice, bold effort. Yeah, a little resistance up in the neck and in the bridle, but a clean change. Same thing here for the half pass. Could have been again a little bit more through, a little bit round. Came slightly higher above. Well followed in the neck. Nice stretch. Keeps the rhythm.
Do you think that stretch movement there helps these final 2 changes?
Yes and no. That depends a little bit on the horse. Some horses are a little bit flustered by that because they get long, and it is depending on how through they were in their body. And what I mean with that, and when they pick them back up, how quickly do they collect and correctly collect themselves so that the chains will be nice and clean. If they don't adapt to that and they become a little bit stiffer actually and a little bit against it, then it will not play out well.
Well, a beautiful last halt there for Mia, and longtime partner Phelps should be trending as one of their better marks in the 5-star test, and they will be looking to add nothing to that score on the cross country. They've done it before. Can they do it again? Right now, a big day for her and her team. You see Yeti there on her bonnet. Yeti, a sponsor of this team. We look to the slow motion shots.
This was very, very pleasant to watch, I thought, Sinead. See what a lovely expression the horse has. And the horse is willing to work for her. They're good partners.
Yeah, I think that's been the thing that's been so fun to watch. You know, they never expected Phelps to be here at this level. They thought he was just a pleasant, polite horse that Mia would produce until he went on and found maybe a young rider job. Now I think a score coming in at 32.2 puts her in the top 10, 7th place. She will start her day tomorrow on a 32.2 with her partner and good friend Phelps. Boyd getting ready to enter the arena here on one of the predicted leaders. Can he take over the top spot from Monica Spencer? This was last week at Morven Park when he led the U.S. Open final on mixed master C. He dominated the track as he flew across Northern Virginia's beautiful course here, and he has been on a winning streak there. Riding McMaster C, produced by Liz Halliday. He has become fast friends, and it was a nail-biting finish as he finished as not only the series winner, but the 2025 U.S. Equestrian Open champion, taking home a lot of extra cash there. McMaster C, owned by Ocala Horse Properties, produced so well through the grades with Liz Halliday, and Boyd there, adorned by his ribbons and blankets, and big trophy there, the first U.S. Open eventing winner in 2025. Can he keep the streak going? Today's favorites going into dressage were Monica Spencer and Boyd Martin here on Commando 3. We have seen some stellar tests from this pair before.
What I've always noticed with him in the dressage test is he's always riding nicely forwards.
This just a 12-year-old owned by Yankee Creek Ranch, LLC. He's got a big job to do, Barron.
Yeah, beautiful entrance. You see a little tension. You could see that on the outside in the ring. He's a little tiny bit reactful. Beautiful halt. And there you saw a little glimpse of that little bit of looking there. Beautiful expression, good change. Fortunately came a little bit above the bit there. Little looky. Nice transition to the half pass. Again, could be a little bit more bended around that right leg, from my opinion, and this angle, what I see. There could be a little difference for the judge at sea. And it's important to see in these shoulder ins that they maintain the same exact rhythm as on the straightaway. Same thing as in the half pass. Came nicely out of the corner, well balanced, well maintained. Hopefully he will stay that way. Little abrupt, not as soft in the landing. I would like to see a horse halting a little softer. The clear forebeat is there, right away out of the halt. Horse has a lovely expression. And there, for my opinion, he could seek a little bit more towards the bridle, into the hand. For me, this is not quite an extended walk. It's, for me, a little bit too free. It could be a little bit more maintained in the connection. And he might do that a little bit on purpose, based on the tension, what he feels. He might have compromised and say, well, I'm going to lose a couple of scores on that. Nicely prompt transition. So there, a little tension there towards the end, therefore the collection was a little harder, a little bit hollow in the back. Clean change. There and there he could have a little bit more bent in that half pass, and a little bit more commitment. Nice and bold, good effort. And as you see, when he came back in that collection, he struggles a little bit. So he gets a little shorter instead of keeping the quality of the 3-beat. He doesn't quite keep that quality. He tensed up a little bit. This half pass I find better. A better bend. Here you could see he helps him a little bit by leaning a tiny little bit forward, lightening his seat a little bit to give the horse the comfort. It was a good choice of him. See, and here, this is what I tried to explain to you. With this horse, a little bit that long and low, and then picking up together, he struggled with that. So he had definitely a harder time to collect afterwards. You could see that. And that impacted the change.
And every little bit matters here, as at the top of the leaderboard, it is tight.
Although a lovely job done.
Absolutely big pats around this horse. A second place finish at the 5-star at Kentucky. He also was top 6 at Aachen this summer. So stringing some really good results, looking to make last year's wrong right here at Mars, Maryland. It was a tough day at the office for Boyd last year, but never mind, on to 2025 as we look back at the performance he just put in front of us.
That's a lovely expression. And you could see before he came him that a diagonal, he stiffened in that lower neck a little bit in the under neck, and he tightened up there a little bit. But what an expressive horse.
And a score in good enough to put himself ahead of himself. 30.3. He goes into 3rd place.
Well done.
Actually, he is tied here with Janelle Price. So we will look towards cross country to see who will break that tie. The plot thickens, Baron.
Yes, exciting, isn't it?
They competed together as children, as I had heard the conversation. So again, Australian and New Zealand as kids, and New Zealand and American as adults, but still competing here in the sandbox. As we have a great shot here of the beautiful park out in front of us in Cecil County. Over 100,000 horses reside in Maryland here, but 75 will take on Pierre Le Grouple's cross country tomorrow, as we get a shot down there of the Young Horse Championships for 4- and 5-year-olds. That is carrying on. And a beautiful shot there of the Mars crab water up at the very, very top of the climb. Here it is a fitness test tomorrow, but today it's a test to keep that fitness in the box. As we welcome to the arena Cooley Candyman and Buck Davidson. A quick reroute from last week's Open. He felt after several good competitions at the 4-star long level, he decided, why not? Let's give this 5-star a crack. And I am sure he is very glad he showed up.
And how is this horse bred, Sinead?
I will let you know in one moment. This is an Irish sport horse gelding by Sligo Candy Boy. This is, I believe, the 4th Sligo Candy Boy we've seen today out of Dashing Hill by Flame Hill. This horse owned by Buck and Cassie Siegel, longtime supporters of Buck and his crew.
It's a big horse. Nice entrance. He walked there a little bit in the halt. That's going to cost him some points. They want to see a prompt halt.
This horse usually trending around the low 30s mark in this first phase.
Horse shows lovely difference. Could be a little bit more uphill, slightly a bit downhill, but shows a good difference. Again, a nice transition to the half pass. Can't quite see it on this distance, but it appeared almost as if the hunches were slightly leading. But I can't quite tell it on this side.
And that also why we have 3 judges from 3 different angles. So as the scores come in, they could be slightly off, but they're averaged together to get the overall impression of the test from 3 different angles.
Lovely expression there. Has a tendency a little bit that he goes a little bit wide from behind, so he's can't quite hold that strength to keep it uphill. Again, walked a little bit into the halt. 2, 3, 4, 5. A little crooked, loses a couple of points there. Again, the 4-beat, nice clear 4-beat. Could be a little bit more committed and wants to seek for the bit a little bit down, as you can see. So he's on borderline, getting a little bit behind the vertical. Lovely expression in the extended walk. Very good effort. Maybe if we want to be critical, a little inconsistent in the neck, in the connection. With a very clear 4-beat. And you can see that he struggles a little tiny bit with that connection there. When he picks it back up, he's a little insecure. He doesn't step right into a promptly into the canter, beautifully ridden. Very nice expression. And again, you can see that in the connection in the head, it gets a little bobby in the neck. A little late from behind, what I could tell. There, lovely bend in this half pass. And you can see that his hand wants to come a little bit up, so it looks like he's fighting a little bit to come up, buddy. A little bit more uphill. And you can see that also a little bit in the resistance in the tail, a little bit. Stiffens a little bit in the back. Nice clean change. Very good in the half pass again. Good. Lovely following in the hand down. That was unfortunate, a little trip there. Let's see how he does with his change here. Good. And good, little bit sideways in the preparement, but very good. Clean. Horse was there anticipating a little bit of trot, unfortunate. And a lovely halt.
Well, while we wait for a score, we're going to throw down to Frankie, who's got Swiss rider Felix Vogt, who currently sits in second. Let's hear from him.
Well, Felix, a beautiful performance here today. You went in that ring and were able to deliver. You've been to some of the biggest venues in the world. Talk about how this one stacks up.
It's big as well. I mean, it's really big. Not just everything what these guys put up here, stable-wise, arena-wise. I mean, the cross-country is great. It's proper. It's big. I think as we wanted, yeah.
A big crowd here cheering you on. And just talk a little about this mare.
I have her quite long already. We actually started over here competing together. I bought her in England. She came over here when I lived here. And yeah, since then she went quite well. We decided she's better 5-star horse than championship horse. So she's doing all this big stuff and she's really good in it.
All right, well, quite the track to tackle tomorrow. Back to you guys to close us out.
Well, we wait for a score for Buck Davidson and Cooley Candyman, looking cool and calm as he exits the main arena here with this beautiful Atwood footing. See those cross-country fences that we will be tackling tomorrow. Score in, and it will be a 33.5. That will put him currently in 10th place, which is a very good fighting position for his first attempt at 5-star with his longtime partner, Cooley Candyman. Sneaking in a little look at those corners. Might be a little cheeky there. Next time he sees those, he'll be going at top speed as we are about to welcome our final competitor in the Mars Maryland 5-star at Fair Hill, Caroline Pamuchku, on her longtime partner, HSH Blake. We saw this pair at the Paris Olympics this past summer. Caroline, now an Olympian. Blake, a product of the Young Event Horse program, has followed this pipeline all the way through and has shown so much promise, and she is here not for the beer.
I believe that. She always put the go button on. She's not afraid to ride forwards. That's a definite.
She has got 3 horses here contesting this 5-star competition. And although HSH Blake is a gold medalist from the Pan American Games, has been to the Olympic Games, Baron, this is his first 5-star.
Wonderful. That's great. It's a very expressive horse.
HSH Blake, owned by Molly Hoff, Sherry Martin, Caroline, and husband Dennis Pamuchku. It's been so fun, a family affair, to see Caroline and her little baby girl named after Blake. Caroline, a new mom just as January this year. So back at it at this level, 3 horses at 5-star. She was at the Open last week. But this ride will be the ride that lets us know what the podium will look like heading into tomorrow's cross country.
Dead straight on. Little walk step there, even critical. Nice takeoff, nice bolt forwards right away. She always rides nice and forwards. Sometimes to a point we have to be careful if they ride them so forwards that it doesn't look hurried. So far, so good. Very, very nice transition there to the half pass. Very fluent, very uphill.
And the amazing thing here, Baron, is this horse has done so much, but only 10 years old.
That's very young still. There, this half pass on this angle for me could be a little tiny bit more bent around the left leg. Lovely expression there. Well held in the rhythm. Very consistent all the way through the end. Nice prompt halt. Unfortunately, they're a little distracted. That will affect the rein back a little bit. You could see that a little bit sideways. She loses a couple of points on that one.
And it's so tight, right?
Yes.
I mean, that at the top, you can see the leader and the current. And Monica had an absolutely flawless test. So even that little bit can make the difference between first and second.
You can see here that he's correcting that a little bit. He wanted to get a little bit deeper. He tried to prevent that. He did a good job. And again, I would love to see here the extended walk, a little bit more marching forwards. How much he rides them forwards there in the trot. I would have liked to see that here in the walk as well. And maybe she can't. She maybe plays it very safe and feels the tension, so no, I can't do it today. You see here a little hesitation of an anticipation for the canter almost. Good job. Well done. And that is not a misser. He does that beautiful bolt forwards. Holds the counter good. Oops, a little bit high and a little bit overreacted in the change. Yeah, and the half pass could be a little bit more bent in there and a little bit more fluent. Again, a beautiful expression in that canter bolt. Nice coming back. Again, a little bit, she can clean up those changes a lot better. And that will happen. Still young in there. I would say that is her weakest point right now. There, and she could stretch there a little tiny bit more out, looking at this horse's neck and the outline and the conformation. That was actually a very good change for this horse. Well done. That one too. So they clearly was interesting that on the diagonal her changes were better than actually on the short side. nice, fluent to a trot, bold to the judge, lovely expression, and a nice square halt.
And gently into that halt, a big pat for HSH Blake. I don't think she will have done enough to dislodge Monica, but it is going to be close as we wait for her score. Monica Spencer sits on a 23.7, right behind her Felix Vogue on a 28.7. Watching those scores, Caroline will have been trending fairly close there, so we'll wait to see as this beautiful expression on this lovely 10-year-old already represented the United States of America at the Pan American Games, the Olympic Games, and now taking on her first 5-star with her longtime partner, HSH Blake.
Again, this is promising. Nice expression in this horse. Lovely. Lovely outline. Clear coming back out of that extension.
Now there we see a fist pump as a score comes in for Caroline. It will be second place, 28.3. She will take to Pierre Le Groupeau's cross country tomorrow. Good enough for a podium finish, sneaking right behind Monica Spencer. It is going to be a colorful podium with New Zealand leading the way. American Caroline Pamuchku closing out day 2 of dressage with a sub-30 28.3. Smiles and cheers. The crowd goes wild for her. Blake wide-eyed as he leaves the arena. Sherry Martin, their mother, following behind her proud daughter, and everyone is so excited that she really delivered. There you see baby Blake, named after, obviously, this wonderful horse. As we get a shot here of our Quarry View leaderboard. At the top, we have Monica Spencer, followed by Caroline Pamuchku on HSH Blake on a 28.3. Right behind them, Swiss Felix Vogue with a 28.7. Boyd Martin on a 30.3. Tied with Janelle Price on a 30.3. Taylor Mason on a 30.4. A quick break. Come back and join us here at Mars, Maryland 5-star at Fair Hill.
Chesapeake Collectibles always has surprises in store.
I've got to find out.
Look at what we've found for season 12.
I think my jaw dropped.
Our experts examine the details.
This is one incredible find.
And viewers share treasured memories.
Every time I read the poem, it brings tears to my eyes.
Every week on Chesapeake Collectibles.
Wow.
Watch on MPT or stream on the PBS app.
The Maryland Horse Library and Education Center in Reisterstown offers a special collection of over 5,000 equine-related volumes. Monthly events include panel discussions, author talks, and book signings. Visit marylandhorse.com to learn more.
University of Maryland Center for Environmental Science. In today's search for environmental solutions, trust the institution with 100 years of pioneering research in the Chesapeake Bay watershed and around the world.
The Mars Maryland 5-star would like to thank Mars Equestrian and the Mars family of brands for their support. Mars Equestrian, Buckeye Nutrition, Ethel M Chocolates, Nutro, Pedigree, Antec, and Sound.
For tempting you to crack into new foods. For helping you build epic memories. You're welcome. Come experience more in Maryland. Go to visitmaryland.org.
We'd like to thank the following partners: Select Event Group, Quarry View Building Group, Yanmar, Lemieux, and Great Wolf Lodge.
Greenies, well-being made wonderful.
The Mars, Maryland 5-star presented by Brown Advisory is being brought to you by Mars Equestrian, a better world for horses, pets, and people. By Brown Advisory, invest in the present to raise the future. And by Quarry View Building Group, experts in equestrian, commercial, timber frame, restoration projects.
Well, welcome back to the wrap-up of Day 2 of competition at 2025's Mars, Maryland 5-star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory. We are going to go to Frankie, who has our leader down at the end gate.
Well, Monica, a brilliant performance, and as Five Gum says, you're able to stimulate your senses with a brilliant ride. Absolutely a magnificent. What did you think of that?
Yeah, it was great. He stayed with me out there. He was a very good boy.
Well, you are our Five Gum Ride of the Day. I present this to you as a result. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Well, all smiles from her as we have our Magna Wave Ride of the Day here at Mars, Maryland 5-star at Fair Hill. It was a day that did not disappoint. In third place, Swiss rider Felix Vogt, showing all of his smoothness and expertise as he guided this beautiful mare around the boards in the cross country, delivering quite a show in this dressage test. And next, coming in second place, Caroline Pamuchku on longtime partner HSH Blake, laid down a 28.3 to put her in a fighting position going out to Pierre's cross country tomorrow. She galloped boldly in the arena, and she will take that top place to the cross country tomorrow, sitting right behind our leader, who did paint a picture in the dressage arena today, Monica Spencer, an artist, a 23.7, a flawless round today as we sat back and enjoyed this picture-perfect round of the day delivered by New Zealand Monica Spencer and her lovely thoroughbred partner, artist. And that was our Magna Wave Ride of the Day. As dressage comes to a close here, we have our final standings here at top of the leaderboard. Monica Spencer and Artist, followed closely by Caroline Pamuchku and HSH Blake. Third place, Swiss rider Felix Vogt and Cartagena. Boyd Martin closely behind on Commando 3. Then a 4, tied with Janelle Price and Chile Midnight Star. And sixth place, another Kiwi face, Taylor Mason and Centennial. Seventh there again, Boyd Martin and Luke 140. Eighth again, Caroline Pamuchku, and she's the one. Ninth place, Mia Phelps. And 10th place, Jenny Brannigan and Effie Lifestyle. Right outside the top 10, Buck Davidson, Fully Candyman. 12th, Canadian, Lindsay Transnell and Basie Rouge. 13th, Mary Beth Davis, Imperio Magic. And again, 3 and tied to the top 20, Caroline Pamuchku, HSH Tolan King, followed by Shannon Lilly, Alexander Bragg, Canada's Jessica Phoenix. 17th place, Will Faudrey, Mama's Magic Way. And rounding out there, we have Arden Wildison, Sunday Times. Australians, Sophia Hill and Humble Glory. And we will get ready, excited for tomorrow's cross country. At 9 a.m., we will start with the Maryland 3-star cross country, galloping across these beautiful Fair Hill hills as we get set for the best day all year. Well, a day it has been. I've been joined by Baron Hildebrand. Thank you so much for calling this day of sport with me.
Well, thank you too. It was enjoyment.
Well, these dressage fancy horses will head out and gallop across the terrain tomorrow. A beautiful picture of Cecil County, home to over 1,000 horses. And so many beautiful combinations. We saw Janelle Price there cantering down the center line. And we look forward tomorrow. And please join us at Mars, Maryland 5-star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory. We thank you for joining us and all of those that have put on such a show as we look forward to Pierre Le Grouple's first attempt at the 5-star here in Cecil County.
When your job is your passion, it's more than a paycheck. It's about pride and purpose.
I just try to give something back and pass something on.
It's an understatement to say those are life-changing things for people.
It's a craft and a calling.
You feel like you're making a difference.
I'm here because of you.
And the rewards can be sweet.
I love it. I love what I do.
Don't miss an all-new season of Made in Maryland. Wednesday nights at 7 on MPT or stream on the PBS app.
The 988 helpline provides immediate emotional support to people across Central Maryland. The helpline is free, confidential, and calls and texts are answered 24/7. Learn more at 988helpline.org.
The Maryland Horse Library and Education Center in Reisterstown offers a special collection of over 5,000 equine-related volumes. Monthly events include panel discussions, author talks, and book signings. Visit marylandhorse.com to learn more. The Mars Maryland 5-Star would like to thank Mars Equestrian and the Mars family of brands for their support. Mars Equestrian, Buckeye Nutrition, Ethel M. Chocolates, Nutro, Pedigree, Antec, and Sound.
Embark on a culinary journey along the banks of the Upper Chesapeake Bay. Discover Cecil County, Maryland, where food and adventure bring people together. Pull up a chair. We're waiting for you. Visit us at discovercecil.com.
We'd like to thank the following partners: Select Event Group, Quarry View Building Group, Yanmar, Lemieux, and Great Wolf Lodge.